This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for areas of smoke today after the rain with a high near 67. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 53. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 77. Make it a night to remember at Crooner's Supper Club. Incredible live music, 4-star food, handcrafted drinks, and first-class service, all in the classic supper club setting. Don't miss out. Visit croonersmn.com to plan your perfect night out. That's croonersmn.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. Hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we got a jam-packed show here. We have Ruth Anna Buffalo coming on later, Wendy, and we're really excited about the show today. I also have executive producer of Youre Indian, and we have a lot to talk about with that. But first, I want to get before we get our guest on, Wendy, is I want to talk just a little bit about what happened in Minneapolis. And I know I just want to say a couple things, and it's despicable. And
so what happened was there were a bunch of ICE agents and the sheriff and some police went to a restaurant in Minneapolis. Now, what I heard, that it was drugs and money laundering.
Sure didn't look like that to me.
Exactly.
And I want to just leave it at that. And we're going to get our guest on here, but I just want to say what we saw in our the live feeds that were going all over was that we had ICE agents
Mhm.
going into a Mexican restaurant
Mhm.
and looking for people to arrest, and we had the Minneapolis police, the FBI agents, kind of supporting them because the people were really upset. There was hundreds of people that were trying to stop this arrest,
Mhm.
and we just want to bring that to everybody's attention out there.
Right. So, for one thing, if it is drugs and money laundering, that's fine. Let the police and the federal agents go there. Then they were saying that, well, we sometimes need ICE agents there because if there's any, immigration problems, then they get to take care of it. But yes, like you said, if it was drugs and money laundering, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ICE agents did not need to be there. If you ask me, they're just saying drugs and money laundering, and it's like a really sad thing. The other thing is, Minneapolis gets a lot of attention because we are a sanctuary state.
Right.
And everything that's happened in Minneapolis in the past has brought attention to Minneapolis.
Right.
And there's a list. There's a list out there of counties and states that have listed themselves as sanctuary states.
Mhm.
And if you look at it, those are the ones where the ICE agents are going.
Yeah.
So it's really
It was pathetic for me to see the chief of
Yeah.
police there, and
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
they can say what they want, but my lion eyes noticed
Mhm.
what was happening.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up. We got a
Yeah.
jam-packed show,
Absolutely.
and I want to bring Flynn on, and Ryan is a producer of You're No Indian. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Thanks, Robert. It's an honor to be here, and I'm actually the director of the film You're No Indian.
Yes, I need to take better notes, right there, Wendy.
Absolutely.
Well,
Thank you so
it's a team. There's a lot of us that played a bunch of different roles.
Well, this is, being the director, this is a really an interesting thing to bring up. And first, I want to kind of introduce you and have yourself introduce yourself, and then also talk about the producers, because I guess that why I got confused is I was starstruck to see those names too, Ryan.
I am too. I'm starstruck as well. Well, my name's Ryan Flynn. I'm the director of the documentary film You're No Indian. I'm from Northern California, kind of near Lake Tahoe, and I'm honored to share this film and its creation with Tantu Cardinal, who's an executive producer. She also did our narration on the film, and Wes Studi, who needs no introduction, and he's the co-executive producer, and he also helped with some of the he gave me all kinds of notes and guidance along the way.
Yeah, so you're no Indian kind of talks about the troubling issues that we have in tribal disenrollment, and it exposes the role of casinos fueling quite a yet devastating civil war within indigenous communities. And I know there's tribes here in Minnesota that have over the years have disenrolled people, and it's a real thing.
And it's nice to, as our interviews are picking up, it's nice to hear people actually talking about it. So much of the United States, even within indigenous communities, they don't understand how much this is spreading and how big of a, I call it a disease that's moving through Indian country. And frankly, we think this is just the beginning, and it's gonna, start picking up with things like Doge coming through and taking away funding from tribes. People are starting to ask questions: who really belongs? And that's
Right.
what we've seen happen over the last 7 years. But like I said, it's spreading.
Right. And my Wendy and I have always talked about this in Native Roots Radio too. Is I always believe that lineage is where people should be at. I was a high school teacher, and I know Red Lake, for instance, changed their enrollment to anyone that was born before 1958 automatically became full blood, which is awesome. A lot of people, my students were able to get enrolled. They were full blooded natives, but not enough in one tribe. And so that's ridiculous in its one sense, but also there are other sides of the story too that somebody like Red Lake is, but they're not a big per cap tribe either. And I think that's kind of one of the things that is an underlining issue.
Yeah, that's what we've seen, where you have a, large casino with a significant like city near it. That's kind of the recipe for disenrollment, because the fewer members in the tribe, the larger piece of the pie those that remain get. Those per capita payments double if you cut the tribe in half.
Right. Exactly. And, how much is it a supplement? How much do you need? I mean, there's all these questions that, one thing I want to say too is that, we have a vast audience out there. And one thing I want to say is that most tribes are not casino tribes. There's a few of them out there, but, or very successful. And that's one thing I want to bring up too. And I think what we're talking about is the successful tribes that maybe have a colonized way of thinking about things.
Every tribe is different. What I found, going through dozens, living with, indigenous peoples and in breaking bread and hearing the stories, and I want to be clear, casinos are not a bad thing. They're a tool that should be used by leaders to better their people. It's been explained to me a number of different times that a larger tribe is a stronger tribe. But there are examples that we take, and it's not insignificant, that we call them politicians. Take control, gain control of the tribal council, and start kicking people out. And this, some of the stories we're covering involve exhuming bodies and taking DNA tests, passing the DNA test, and still getting removed. Anthropological studies being, anthropologists coming in and saying, no, these people belong, and they're still removed. And that's because those per capita payments go up.
Exactly. Hey, I want to shout out the website address before we take a break. We're gonna take a quick break here and come back with the director of Youre No Indian, Ryan Flynn, and talk more about this. Ryan, give the website again, please.
Sure, it's www.yourknowindian.com.
Right on. And we're going to be right back with Ryan Flynn, director of Youre No Indian, and this is Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke and sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ocheti-Shikoin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis.
I'll never forget. I was driving my Sienna from Rudy Luther Toyota, and I was hit at 35 miles an hour, rear-ended square flush. If not for the structural integrity of my Sienna, I wouldn't be here right now. There's a lot I can say about Rudy Luther Toyota, about their fantastic service department and their great selection, but being able to say your car saved my life is the best endorsement I can make. Toyotas from Rudy Luther Toyota are my highest recommendation. Get one today and tell them me, Matt McNeil, told you to stop on in. Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Trading Post. Shop now at cause-cart.com and find your resist gear there. Pinigigi for your support.
Yes, Pinigigi. Hey, we're here with Ryan Flynn, director of Youre, Indain, and I just wanted to go back a little bit and talk a little bit about how you came about this idea of this documentary.
Well, that's a great question. I have a propensity to go down Google, rabbit holes. And I was just curious how much an Indigenous American gets paid from their casino, and that opened up a whole can of worms. I found out that it's different from tribe to tribe, but that's where I started finding stories of people who claimed to be rightful members, but were removed, and I heard about this concept of disenrollment. And I thought, well, okay, there's got to be a film about this. Somebody must have made it and looked for it, couldn't find it. So I started reaching out to those that were affected by this, and I started verifying, their claims. Speaking to the anthropologists personally, and we kind of uncovered this, this entire world of people that are Indigenous and have been removed. And as we kept digging, realized that it appeared to be a product of greed, a product of corruption, and the next question was, how is this legal, and how does no one know about this? So it seemed like a responsibility to start working on a film.
Well, I can't wait to see it. And then when did you start shooting, and how did you decide who and what was going to be involved with the documentary?
So much of the beginning of this film, which started in late 2018, was gaining the trust of Indigenous people. This is a subject that people are afraid to talk about. If they bring it up, it can put a target on their back. Even if they're disenrolled and they stay quiet, there's hope that maybe they'd get back in, so gaining the trust, creating a safe place for people to speak with me was paramount. And that was, I'd say, by far, and continues to be the hardest part. So the people that were willing to talk to us were the first people that went on camera. But as as our team grew, our understanding became both more rich and empathetic. We started getting more access to those that were disenrolled and those that are proponents of disenrollment, those that are kicking people out of the tribe. We've managed to get them on camera as well.
This is amazing. So I'm kind of stuck here in the Midwest here, and I've heard murmurs over the years, and I think I've even read articles. How prevalent is this? Is it hundreds of tribes, 10 tribes? I know it's. What's your response to that?
We're working on an active list that we're going to release publicly, but it's anywhere between 15 and 20% of the tribes that have done it. It's somewhere between 90 and 100 tribes have disenrolled people. But again, our concern is it's spreading. This is something that's largely on the West Coast, but it is happening throughout the United States. But as soon as you start hearing questions, I've never seen it before. Do they really belong? That's where these things start to spread.
Well, there's a lot of that too, and a lot of things came out recently too, that a few people like Buffy St. Marie, who claimed being Indigenous for 60 years and took a lot of awards as being a Indigenous songwriter. It's kind of come out that she isn't or hasn't been. And also the person that we kind of looked up to that got Marlon Brando's Academy Award, we found out that she wasn't a Native American. So there is a fine line, I think, but it does need to be talked about, Ryan.
Yeah, and I agree. Indigenous identity fraud is identity fraud. You're taking money. Even if it's just improving your career, you're taking resources from people that need it. And that's not what our film's about, though. We are talking about rightful members with all the paperwork. Then, in many cases, more evidence that they belong than those that have kicked them out. And that's what we're focusing on, because it's, I mean, frankly, it's fraud happening in plain daylight. In some cases, it's billions of dollars over the course of a couple decades since the disenrollments.
So are any of these disenrollments because of bringing drugs onto the res and things like that? I know there's murmurs and talk about that. So I guess my question is, what is some of the rationale of people being disenrolled?
Well, let's say you brought drugs onto the res. What is an appropriate punishment for that? And that may be banishment, that may be jail time, that may be revoking your benefits. But should it affect your kids, your children, and their children's children? Disenrollment is a punishment that fits no crime in my mind, because it goes down generations. You're taking out an infinite people. So what crime would justify disenrollment?
Right. Good question. So is that what they're rationalizing in, is something like that? Or is
We
it
haven't seen anything
you don't
like
look
that.
Indian, or you don't look Indian, you're a $5 Indian, or however
The
people say it would
$5
be?
Indian, yeah.
Yeah, right.
We haven't seen anything that is a crime. It's usually starts with a letter, a notice. There was an audit of membership, and there may have been, some political stuff, or people are asking questions about where the money is going in their tribes, or they want the houses back. There's one case, which is the Nooksack, where they had 15-year rent to own, where they were going to get the deeds to their homes. And just before they received the deeds, they were removed, citing
Wow.
whatever. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So what do you hope that people will learn and take away from watching your documentary, non-native to compared to native viewer?
I hope that people that watch this film that are indigenous, that have been affected by it, recognize that they're not alone. There's an entire community of people that have been, tens of thousands of people have been disenrolled. And I hope that they see how similar their stories are, and it gives them the courage to speak up. For those that have not been disenrolled and are indigenous, that they see this as a warning. Tie up your constitution. Be careful who you vote for, because every tribe is one election away from this happening. For the non-indigenous, I think awareness is important. As you said, native stories are human stories. And there are those that are the last language speakers. Protecting
Right.
songs and histories that were almost completely wiped out through colonization. It's our responsibility as people to celebrate all cultures, and be an ally to those that have been, wrongfully removed because of forces of capitalism and greed.
There you go. There it is. Hey, we're here with Ryan Flynn, director. You're no Indian, and I'd like to ask you too. How did you get such highfalutin producers? That's put some credibility behind your work.
Well, honestly, they watched the film. When I spoke to Wes, he was to be honest, kind of standoffish. And then after he watched it, he signed right on. This is an important story, and it's an honor to have, people with those kind of names, stand with us, because this is important.
Yeah, it sounds really important. One of the things I'd like you to when is it going to come out, and where can people see it?
Well, we are premiering actually in Hollywood, California on the 28th, but that sold out almost immediately. So what we're working on is a second screening on the 29th in Hollywood, California at the TLC Chinese Theater. We'd love to see you there if you're close. Otherwise, follow us on our website, and we'll be announcing other tickets and streaming opportunities and all of that there.
Well, I appreciate you being on, and I would love to get into this deeper, and especially once it comes out, we'll be able to talk more about this. But this is interesting, and I believe what you said is really true when it comes to being Indigenous and Native here. Is that you don't want to rock the boat and do come out and talk about this, but it's one of those dirty secrets that us Native community has to deal with and talk about.
Absolutely. It's been in the shadows long enough.
Well, hey, Ryan, give that website one more time for our listening audience out there. And I just want to say, really appreciate you coming on, and let's hear that website one more time.
Yeah, thank you. It's www.yournowindian.com, and it's been an honor. Thank you.
Right on. Pinigigi. Hey, we'll be right back with Ruth Ann of Buffalo. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
Four Sisters Farmers Market kicks off its 11th season on June 5th from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market opening day will bring together over a dozen local vendors, food from the Powwow Grounds Fry Bread Factory truck, and a raffle plus live music at noon. A project of NACD, the Four Sisters Farmers Market is built around Indigenous values and community connection. Four Sisters Farmers Market opening day June 5th. Learn more at nacd.org.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more. Hey, it's Patrick for ZeroRes. June is here, which means you might be having a graduation party at your house soon. Summer also means sleepovers. Your kids are going to be at the playground, at the water park, at the beach. There's going to be a lot of mess coming into the house over the summer, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at ZeroRes to make sure your home is in order for the summer. And since June is here, it's time to take advantage of ZeroRes's best deal of the summer. ZeroRes can take care of any surface in your home or business, including carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. This month, take 20% off all services when you call my friends at ZeroRes 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. Just tell them you want the AM 950 special. Their prompt, courteous team will come out and take care of you. Again, that's 20% off all services this month. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. ZeroRes, backward or forward, spells the same.
This is Mitch, owner of Junk Masters. Feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Spring's the perfect time to reclaim your space and peace of mind. Renting a dumpster is costly, and it all ends up in the landfill. Just show us what goes. We give usable items a second life by donating them. No calling all over town trying to figure out who takes what. We do the legwork for you. Easy, cost-effective, and local. There's no obligation. Visit junkmastersmn.com today.
Hey, it's Jennifer from AM 950. I'm 57, and lately I've definitely been feeling it. Lower back pain, hip aches, brain fog, and serious lack of energy. That's when I decided to try Hypercharge Wellness, and I'm so glad I did. At Hypercharge Wellness, they focus on proactive wellness and medication-free solutions to help you feel better and live healthier. Their FDA-approved light therapy helped reduce my chronic pain and inflammation, and the results have been nothing short of life-changing. My back pain and stiffness are improving, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. They also offer laser therapy that targets muscles and joints, perfect for injury recovery and pain management. Whether you're dealing with fatigue, chronic pain, or mental fog, Hypercharge Wellness has treatments designed just for you to boost energy, improve clarity, and reduce inflammation. Take control of your health and wellness today with their $49.99 introductory session and consultation at any of their 3 locations. Visit hyperchargeclinic.com for more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for areas of smoke today after the rain with a high near 67. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 53. And Wednesday, sunny with a high near 77. Make it a night to remember at Crooner's Supper Club. Incredible live music, 4-star food, handcrafted drinks, and first-class service, all in the classic supper club setting. Don't miss out. Visit croonersmn.com to plan your perfect night out. That's croonersmn.com.
Hi, this is Governor Walls. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
I love that tagline. Hey, we are here with Ruth Anna Buffalo, who is CEO of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, and we love talking to you and getting updates about your organization. Welcome, Ruth.
Dosha, and hello, Madzagadads. Thank you for having me.
Right on. So, hey, what's going on at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center this week?
This week we had a caregiver support group yesterday. Sorry, the dogs are wrestling in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear them.
We love that, don't we, one day?
We're going to have a dog show one day, just dogs.
Yeah.
Voices of the dogs.
It's a Chihuahua and a Boston Terrier.
Oh,
their parents.
Yeah,
They're a couple.
Well, you have to tell us the names before we move on, because
Jordan is the Chihuahua, and he's the dad, and then the mom is Novia. She's a Boston Terrier. Terror. No, I'm just kidding.
Dogs are people too.
Right on.
Can you hear them though?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm like, where's my sound really good? Just kidding.
It's ambiance in the background.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good intro to Wendy's sacred animal portion, so we love that. Right, Wendy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're on a roll tonight for some reason. But yeah, so at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, we have a couple support groups this week. Every first Monday of the month, from 11:30 to 1 p.m. is our caregiver support group. So yesterday, which was Monday, first Monday of the month, the caregiver support group had a really beautiful meal provided by Sunny Bado, and then there was chair exercises. So the support group, it's a caregiver support group that meets first Monday of every month, 11:30 to 1 p.m. And sometimes they'll play bingo, or sometimes they'll go on outings off-site, in nature. And so it's a pretty beautiful group to witness. And then this Friday we have on-site bonsai tree activity that's being hosted by Nujimo and the Drop-In Center for Native Survivors Empowerment Group, and that's this Friday. In conjunction with NAC, Native American Community Clinic, within the community gym or the community room, the gym will be a cedar ceremony this Thursday. And then weekly, we have the meal program where we provide breakfast 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Tuesdays, breakfast and lunch from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tuesday Resource Connect. So that's a little bit of the activities that are going on right now. Family fun night is usually the last Friday of every month. And then, there's please follow our socials. That's kind of where everything will be posted.
That's awesome. And how did you guys do? I had to leave a little early of the floats from the parade. How did you guys win again?
No, you're
What?
supposed to hear big horn in the
Oh.
background. Just kidding. No, we didn't. No, but I think Red Lake College won, so that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
yeah, so one of our board members works at Red Lake College and is a teacher, so it was cool to see all of the beautiful floats, and yeah, it was a good time.
It really was, and I appreciate that happening, especially after what's happened in our community, and then being able to have the parade again still, and ending the month as opposed to beginning the month. So that was really awesome to be at and witness.
Yeah, yep, for sure. In our family too, we have two first cousins. One is born on the first day of May, and the other is born on the last day of May. So in our household too, it's always cool to remember our cousins. But yeah, for sure, with the parade being rescheduled to the last day of May from the first day of May, it was good to see everybody out and dancing and having a good time, and but always remembering those that have passed on, and that we have to move forward and be good to one another and take care of each other as well is good and important.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd like to, before I'm remiss, is to get your website out and how people can donate, and how important the work that Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center has been doing for the past 40 plus years.
Yes, thank you. MIWRC.org/donate. When you go to the website, MIWRC.org, there will be a big donate tab that pops up. Please feel free to share that and donate if you are able to. We appreciate it.
Definitely. So what else is going on? I know there was a lot happening in the last few days. Deb Holland was in town. I don't know if you got to see your old friend Deb, but she was in town, and a lot happening.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool to see and hear of the stories. I had friends in town who came to be a part of the festivities and sang songs there and stuff. So I had lunch or breakfast with one of my friends from back home who was in town for the festivities and was sharing how beautiful of an event or events took place. And so, yeah, we wish all of our electeds the best and hope that the outcomes are good and successful. And we have our oldest daughter is back for the summer, and she just finished her first semester at art school in the Southwest. And so it'll be pretty cool for her to see if and when Sister Deb Holland wins the governorship in New Mexico. That'll be pretty amazing for our daughter, being a college student in New Mexico.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. And I had the opportunity to go to a fundraiser last night, and it was really cool. They had Senator Mary Kunesh, Representative Heather Keeler, and the Lieutenant Governor, and Kelly Miller too, and also Deb Holland. And it was really pretty chill, and it was really good to see her. And it's always cool to see the women in the front leading as they are meant to be.
Yes, yep, for sure. Yep. One of my friends shared that they saw you at the festivities or one of the fundraisers, and but yeah, for sure, it's not anything new to have our women leading. It's part of who we are as Native people, and I think, in fact, other populations took notice of how well and how well and how in high regard our women were held within our communities, that they took notice of it and asked for advice. And I think of like our relatives on the upper East Coast, the Haudenosaunee, and how beautiful the dynamics are in their communities still to this day. So it's pretty cool to hear those stories. And even with like the Women's Suffrage Act and the movement there, back in the day, they were seeking guidance from the Haudenosaunee women, because they saw how how do you say it? I keep getting tongue-tied, but just how beautiful, how well we were held, in high regard. And so,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's cool to see that, and hope the outcomes are good in the next election cycle. It is true, what they say, elections matter, or, I know Sister Peggy Flanagan would always say you get what you organize for. And I know many of the community members are doing that on a daily basis out of necessity, rain or shine. But what we've witnessed within this current present times is the importance of using your voice through, whether it's showing up at meetings, or now I got the microwave in the background. But yeah, just showing up, or voting. But it's important because we're definitely seeing the effects of change in leadership. So
So that microwave doesn't let you forget about your food, does it?
I know. Oh my gosh.
And I leave it in there and I forget about it, but that is a good microwave. Like, I would never forget my reheated coffee.
Wow. I was gonna ask Ruth Anna a question too. I'm gonna mute you right now, and then let you take care of that. But I was gonna ask her if she missed it because, as we know, Ruth Anna was a politician of sorts, and
Yeah.
let me see if she fixed that yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. But I have the other microwave that we have, Robert. It'll beep and it'll let you know, and then it'll like a minute later it'll beep again. I need that microwave. I just want to say that because
So,
sweating over
so
here.
I heard a statistic about women running for office, and I've heard this before, and I might even heard it from you, is that the statistics are that you would have to ask a woman 7 times to run as opposed to a male, because what goes through the head of women is all the people that they take care of, and they don't take this lightly. Did you tell me that statistic too over the years?
Maybe. I think don't want to take credit for it, but it definitely sounds familiar. That, women do have to be asked a number of times to run for office, whereas a man, no offense, we definitely respect our counterparts, but sometimes, it just, for women, especially like you mentioned, the caretakers, or it's 100% true. I believe we had those conversations in our household too, of like, how is it going to impact the family and, time away. And I remember having a conversation with my son, who's a recent high school senior graduate, but I remember when he was really smaller, and it was like 2016, I ran for insurance commissioner, statewide race in North Dakota. Didn't win, but stayed involved. And I remember the call for action statewide, had me traveling across the state to different meetings and advocacy efforts. But yeah, I remember having a one-on-one conversation with him before bedtime, like saying, this is kind of what needs to be done at this time, and I'm going to be away for a while and things like that. So yeah, definitely harder, I would say, for women as the caretakers and the backbones of their family. Just kidding. And communities.
Good one. Hey, thanks a lot, Ruth Anna Buffalo, CEO of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. Always great to have a chat, and I'll have to ask you next time what kind of coffee you have. Hey, we'll be right back with Wendy and our sacred animal portion. You're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Four Sisters Farmers Market kicks off its 11th season on June 5th from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market opening day will bring together over a dozen local vendors, food from the Powell Grounds Fry Bread Factory truck, and a raffle plus live music at noon. A project of NACD, the Four Sisters Farmers Market is built around Indigenous values and community connection. Four Sisters Farmers Market opening day June 5th. Learn more at nacd.org.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our Minnesota wolf population. Say no to the hunts.
No!
Oh!
Hey, I want to introduce my awesome, beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many years, and she's a co-founder of Native Roots Radio, and we've been on in our 9th season. Welcome, Wendy.
Hey, everybody. My name is Hanaji. That means cares for them, and I was given that name by my Daga Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I am a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure in doing that. So today and yesterday even, we were having unhealthy air quality alerts here in St. Paul, Minneapolis, and the whole state of Minnesota. I think up north is way worse than we are. Right now, I'm going to look on my weather thing here now. It tells us that the air quality right now is 169, which is rated unhealthy. Earlier today, though, it was even worse. I have it written down. 12:03 this afternoon. It was 2:04, which means very unhealthy. So yeah, and I was kind of like looking up and asking and looking up to see how it affects our animals, and it does. It affects our dogs and cats, especially if they're outside, and wildlife as well. But here it is right here, Robert. Respiratory issues. Just like humans, pets can suffer from coughing, sneezing, wheezing, and labored breathing when air quality is poor, especially from smoke or high pollution. So we're getting smoke here. And I took Wanda out for a walk today. It was a really short walk, but we were out there for at least a half an hour, and I could feel it. You could smell it. It kind of smells to me like burning rubber.
Yeah.
And I could feel like a film on my tongue, just from the particles. I could definitely feel that. So worsening conditions, pets with pre-existing issues like asthma, bronchitis, or listen to this, Robert, or tracheal collapse.
What?
Common in small dogs are at greater risk. So our dog, Wanda, has been like coughing and kind of like it seems to me like, and it sounds to me like she has something in her throat and she's trying to get it out.
Yeah.
She kind of makes like this honking noise, and it's going on for a long time. So we took her to the vet, got her all checked out. They did x-rays, and they found that she has this tracheal collapse. And honestly, I'd never even heard of this, but it's very, very common in small dogs. So their trachea over time, like she's an old dog, and it just starts collapsing because of their anatomy, especially like these dogs that have their smushed in faces.
Yeah.
It happens to it also, but I didn't know that. Sorry, Wanda. I did take you out for a little bit of a walk. So also eye and nose irritation. You might notice runny eyes in your cats and dogs and animals, nasal discharge or pawing at their face. Reduced activity. Pets may be more lethargic and not want to go outside. No wonder she wanted to come home early. Yeah, cats are often more sensitive than dogs to airborne irritants, but both are at risk. So if you have animals, keep them indoors, keep, your windows closed, because if your windows are open, the pollution and the smoke and smog is in your house, right?
Right.
Put air conditioning on. I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, what if you don't have air conditioning? I don't know. It's just a terrible thing. I really just feel horrible about these wildfires. It's just so bad. So larger animals, horses and livestock also are very affected by this. They
Jeez.
can experience reduced lung function, coughing, and increased respiratory rate. Horses in particular are prone to respiratory inflammation during wildfires or dusty conditions.
Wow.
Yeah, long-term exposure can reduce performance and affect growth or milk production in dairy animals. So birds too, we have a ton of birds, even outside and at our house right now in our feeders, and we have bird baths in our backyard. But birds are extremely sensitive to air pollutants due to their rapid breathing rate and delicate respiratory system. Even short-term exposure can be fatal, especially to pet birds like parrots or canaries. I'm so sad that I just
Yeah.
heard that, because in our neighborhood Facebook group, 2 people already today said that their pet birds got outside, and to look for them, and they sent pictures.
Wow. I did see
Yeah.
that too.
Did you see that? Yeah. I'm wondering also if, and I don't know this, I'm sure I could look it up. If the smoke particles like get on like the bird's wings, can it affect like how they fly, or, little hummingbirds or something
Do you
like
know how
that?
long this is going to be?
Yeah, they said till 9:00 tomorrow, but they didn't say AM or PM. I'm hoping AM, 9 AM. I don't know. That's what I heard on the radio today, and they said, "Oh, the conditions will last till 9:00 tomorrow." Well, hello, AM or PM? Like, they didn't say that on the radio. Yeah, so I'm hoping 9 AM.
God, I hope so
Yeah,
too.
because this is really bad. So what can you do for your pets during poor air quality? Keep them indoors, especially during wildfires or high pollution alerts. Use air purifiers if possible. Limit strenuous activity outside. Watch for signs of distress, coughing, panting, lethargy, or unusual behavior. And for birds and small mammals, ensure ventilation is clean and filters are working. If you're concerned about your pet, just bring them to the vet. There's emergency vets out there. And yeah, I'm sorry I even brought Wanda out for a half an hour, but I mean, what are you
Yeah,
going to do? Let's see if it says how long this is going to last, because this is really, and it's really a lot of particles. Yeah, I don't want to get reading this right now, but yeah, they go through the fine particles and, parts per million and all this stuff. The air quality is terrible right now. Anyway, they had a picture. I don't know if you could see it. I'll put it up right now. For those listening online, oh, you can't see it. Put it up there for me, Robert.
wow.
There's a picture of Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis. You could barely see the little fauché, and you can't see the tops of the buildings because it's
Yeah.
just so smoggy. Yeah, so that's the
Jeez.
picture, and that was a picture from NPR. We have to give them credit for their picture, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I just want to read this one little thing too. I just saw this and I thought this is important. Believing facts and trusting science doesn't mean you're a liberal. It means you're literate. I just wanted to say that. Seriously, because there's so many people out there. I know people. I can't say who they are, but
Yeah,
I
you
know
can.
people. No, I'm not going to say who they are. I know people who will not get a COVID vaccine, but they buy these injectable drugs, peptides, on the internet, and they inject them into their bodies for longevity, good skin health, all these things. And they're not FDA approved. Who knows where the stuff is being made, somewhere in somebody's garage somewhere, right outside, with non-sterile, right?
Wow, that could be our next business.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to put it out there. So when I saw that believing facts and trusting science doesn't mean you're liberal, it means you're literate. I kind of thought about that, but I just want to put that out there, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Hey, good.
Anyway, take care of your animals, keep them inside, give them some fresh water, and hopefully this smoky air will be lifting here soon.
Yeah, and check in on your relatives too. That's such a good point.
Yeah, a lot of
Wendy.
people have a lot of respiratory problems, and this is really affecting them. They can't go outside.
Jeez.
I'm going to go brush my tongue as soon as we get off the air.
Ooh, TMI. All right. Hey, you've been listening to Native Roots Radio. We're still here. We are the 7th generation, and Leonard Peltier is freed. We'll be back tomorrow. This is Native Roots Radio.
Be my way, be my blessing. Be my way, be my blessing.
The city